it should do. But up first, questionable call made by Pete Carroll. 20 seconds left in the fourth. Still seems to be a head scratcher for many. Pass or run from the one. Seahawks passed on 2nd and goal during the regular season. Seattle had rushed 7 of 9 plays from the 1-yard line. Lynch specifically had 5 rushes from the one, and it only resulted in 1 touchdown. Let's listen to what Pete Carroll had to say.
We don't ever call a play. I don't even ever coach these guys at one time thinking that they're going to throw an interception, or thinking that we're going to fumble the ball, or thinking that they're going to do something, catch the ball and take it back for a touchdown. I don't ever think that. And so when we make our decisions, just like we make the decision with 6 seconds left in the half, we are counting on our guys. We're trusting the process. We go with what we know and what we've learned and how we can believe in our guys. And that's why we do what we do. And that's why sometimes, we get scrutinized for stuff. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? It's because we believe in that it's going to work. And we believe that things are going to happen. Why do you call the fake field goal? Because we believed it was going to go and it was going to work. So it may be difficult on the outside to understand that, but that's how we go. So there was not a thought in my mind that we would make a mistake on that play. And really, the mistake was a tremendous play by a guy on the other side. I mean, just unbelievable decision and choice to make a play to change the game, and that won them their championship.
So let's look at the numbers. The numbers are, there were 334 plays in the 2014 season from the 1-yard line before the Butler interception. Of those 334 plays, there were only 2 turnovers, and both of them were fumbles. The Seahawks' previous interception from opponent's 1-yard line was back in Week 7 of the 2002 season. So now that you have all of those numbers, take a good look at those. Skip, let me start with you first. Do you believe that Pete Carroll made the right call considering the stats?
Stephen A. Smith, the more I looked at those numbers last night, the less I thought that Pete Carroll made an all-time boneheaded decision on that last play. And the more I thought Pete Carroll was correct, that in truth, if you look hard at what happened, it was actually just a shockingly all-time great play by an undrafted rookie who was a long shot to be even in the game in the first place. What a bold, strong break on that football it was by Malcolm Butler. I don't think that can be underestimated here. And I must admit, before yesterday's show, I was incredibly distracted by what, and again, obviously I was rooting for the Patriots, but Stephen A., I admit, I was distracted by the fact that Bill Belichick looked like he was going to be the goat of the game for me, because of what happened after the first Marshawn run when they had 1st and goal at the 5 and he took it 4 yards. And Belichick let the clock tick down from about a minute left all the way down to 26 seconds left without calling a timeout. I got fixated on that and didn't really look hard enough at these numbers. And I got some more, and I don't want to stat you to death here, but before the game on Sunday, the numbers that I came up with were that teams had thrown from their opponent's 1-yard line 108 times for 66 touchdowns, which was a conversion rate of 61.1%, which was about 3% better than the 223 runs from the opponent's 1-yard line that had produced 129 touchdowns. And also, as Kerry pointed out, 2 lost fumbles. In those 108 passes from the opponent's 1, there had been 0 interceptions thrown in the entire NFL season, including the playoffs. So the stats would tell you is about 3% better to throw the football. Now, you could come back at me and say, yeah, but a lot of those teams didn't have beast mode. But again, this year in the regular season, he was only 1 out of 5 tries from the 1-yard line. And over the last 3 years, he was only 5 out of 12 tries from the opponent's 1-yard line. And even in this game, he had been stopped on a 3rd and 2 and on a 3rd and 1 in the red zone. So I told you yesterday, probably he would have scored, but I said definitely, you can't give me definitely he would have scored. So big picture, I think Pete Carroll took way, way, way too much criticism for that decision through yesterday.
Well, you're entitled to your beliefs. That's your take. My take is that that's ridiculous. I still think it was one of, if not the worst call in NFL history, and I stand by that. It was an absolutely ridiculous call in that position, and primarily, Skip, I feel that way because of who the Seahawks are and what their identity is. I don't care about all of these stats, the 334 snaps, how 62% of them were pass plays, how Marshawn Lynch in 5 tries only had, 1 touchdown and accumulated -1 yard. I don't care about any of that. You have to take into account Percy Harvin is gone. Golden Tate is gone. Why? Because you said, meaning Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks, you said, this is our identity. It's beast mode. It's the Legion of Boom. It's who we are. We're not trying to trick anybody. We're not trying to run from it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to bring our horses, do something about it. I do understand that New England had an abundance of defensive linemen up in there. They packed the house because they were prepared to defend the run. Ever heard of the read option? Ever heard of a bootleg? Ever heard of a pass pattern that's throwing it to the corner of the end zone or someplace like that? So if you end up not completing the pass, at least it's an incomplete pass as opposed to throwing it in the traffic around a bunch of folks where ultimately an interception, a tip the ball, or anything like that could possibly transpire. Ever think about those things? No, he did not. In the end, he went against his identity. And that's what this comes down to. It's who you are. You bring your A game against somebody else's A game. This is not rocket science. These individuals know one another. You know what the other coach is going to think. You know what the other players are going to do. At some point in time, it's about lining up and saying, all right, I'm bringing my best, you bring your best, let's get it on. A whole bunch of people, who doesn't know Marshawn Lynch is getting the ball when he gets the ball during most of these situations? Of course they do. The problem is, can you stop it? That's what this really comes down to. That's what separates greatness from everything else. It's not about surprising anybody. It's not about tricking anybody. It's about somebody saying to you, this is who I am, here I come. What you gonna do about it? And that's what Seattle has been about for 3 years minimum. And to go against that and to pick 20 seconds left with a Super Bowl title on the line to deviate from who you are and what you stand for and what you live on is what makes this unforgivable. Now, if Pete Carroll doesn't have Marshawn Lynch and he has somebody else, that would be different. But that's like, Skip, I'll give you another example. Skip, that's like, we all know how much Tony Romo loves throwing the football, how Dallas loved giving Tony Romo the football and all of this other stuff. But this particular season, DeMarco Murray rushed 392 times. We got a situation where you down there on the goal line, you trying to tell me that Tony Romo's going to throw that pass? He's going to give the ball to DeMarco Murray, or he's going to throw it on the side to a Des Bryant. Who the hell doesn't know that's coming? What you going to do about it? That's the question. In Seattle, this is about your identity, who you are and what you stand for. Pete Carroll went against that and went away from Marshawn Lynch, unquestionably the most powerful running back in the game. You go against him with the Super Bowl on the line. You go away from him, and you don't even use Russell Wilson to run. You have him throw in the middle of the field in traffic. Unforgivable. You can say whatever you want. I'm telling you right now, it was the wrong call. That doesn't make Pete Carroll a bad coach. He's still a great coach, and he's a champion. But this particular Super Bowl, he blew it, and he threw away a Super Bowl title because of it. I don't care what anybody says. Y'all can give all that stats all y'all want to.
Okay.
I could give 2 cents. 334 snaps, 62% pass. Who cares? I want to hear that nonsense. It's ridiculous.
Okay. First of all, I must correct you on Tony Romo versus DeMarco Murray inside the, let's say, 5-yard line. And I don't have these numbers in front of me, but my memory serves me to say that I can't tell you how many times Tony Romo faked to DeMarco in those situations and threw a quick fade route to Des Bryant matched up on some undersized cornerback, or some quick pop pass over the middle to Jason Witten or Gavin Escobar. Everybody does it. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. They're more lethal throwing the ball inside the 5 than running the ball. It's hard to run the ball
1 yard line,
up the middle
of the
against
field.
the goal line defense.
The 1 yard line,
what's that?
Middle of the field, Super Bowl title on the line. Super Bowl title on the line. Don't give me a regular season scenario.
Okay.
They're not going to take that risk. You're either going to run it or you're going to throw it on the side. So if you don't complete the pass, it's an incomplete pass as opposed to an interception.
You know what? I think you're wrong when you say that the identity of the Seahawks is to ground and pound. I thought the identity of the Seahawks was deception, baby. That they're going to run the read option. They're going to trick you with it. They're going to run trick plays. They're going to run fake punts, fake field goals. They're going to trick you with backside passes to the tight end, throwback passes. They do a lot of deception plays. And what did they do at the end of the pass? They let Russell Wilson throw it, and finally throw it up to Chris Matthews, in which was a highly it was a huge gamble at the end of the half. It could have blown up in their faces, but no, it worked. And if that pop pass to Lockett on the slant had merely been incomplete, you wouldn't have said a thing about it. You would have gone on to the next play. Clearly, they were trying to milk the clock down to nothing to leave Tom Brady nothing. So if you take that down and you throw that incomplete, and there's still, 26, would be, maybe take 4 seconds for a pass play, 22 seconds left, you would still have 3rd and 4th down to run the read option or to bang it twice with Marshawn, whatever you want to do. I cannot condemn Pete Carroll for trying one little slick trick play. It's a trick play in that situation, a play that you're not really expecting, and it's a play that they love off the little stack to the right, and it's a pick play, pick trick play. There you go.
You can say whatever. Listen. We have a difference of opinion. I'm not gonna continue to go back and forth about this. I'm telling you, in my opinion, it was a boneheaded play. And, you could say it because of ego. You could say it because of a lot of things, which you pointed out yesterday. Pete Carroll wanted to one-up Bill Belichick. Pete Carroll wanted his guy, Russell Wilson, to do X, Y, and Z. All I'm saying to you is this.
I agree.
You had 3 options as far as I'm concerned. You could throw an out pattern. You could throw it on the out route. You could throw it on the side to one of your receivers, whether it be Matthews or Lockett. You could give the ball the beast mode, Marshawn Lynch, or you could run a bootleg with Russell Wilson. You had those 3 options. To throw the ball in the middle of the field, to take that kind of risk in that situation with a Super Bowl title on the line, not with halftime coming up, not in a regular season game, with a Super Bowl championship on the line. That's your money play to go to Ricardo Lockett, basically a third option at the receiver spot. That was your target? Are you kidding me? I don't want to hear that. I really don't. I'm sorry. No way. Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, Darrelle Revis, and Browner had those boys on lockdown. Go with Wilson or go with beast mode. That's what you do with a Super Bowl title on the line. Period.
Okay, I agreed with you yesterday. I would have run the football. I just don't think you can condemn Pete Carroll for trying one pass there when it took an all-time great break on the ball to turn it into an interception. And there were 0 thrown in 108 attempts from the one this year in the NFL. So it was a 1,000,000,000 shot, and the kid pulled it off. I don't know, give the kid some credit. How about that?
The kid deserves a lot of credit. Nobody's trying to take credit away. But if we were going to give him credit, why the hell didn't we do it yesterday? Of course we're giving him credit. We can't take credit away from him. It was a great play. We understand that. But in that kind of situation, anything could happen, Skip. One of the defensive linemen could have tipped the ball. It's not just the interceptions. A lot can happen in terms of where you targeted the play. That's why I said sideline, bootleg, or run the football with Marshawn Lynch. You could have stacked it with your own boys from the sideline, put some more beef on there, and said, okay, take us there. It's us against you, as Super Bowl titles on the line. What you gonna do? Beast mode? I'm not afraid of that challenge, but at least if you lost, we can sit there and look at you and say, you went with your identity, and it is their identity. That's what they told me. That's what they've been telling everybody else all year long. Look, this is who we are. Yeah, we're going to throw some trick plays here and there, what have you, when the momentum of the game, seeing how things go. But in terms of what we make our money off of, this is who we are. And you go away from that with a Super Bowl title on the line? That's weak, man. That's weak. If I'm throwing haymakers, and that's what made me a champion, then I'm going to throw haymakers come championship time.
Okay, so would you have been okay if they had run the read option which can be a dicey play, especially under pressure at the mesh point. And for whatever reason, Russell Wilson had hung on the ball a little too long. They had lost the handle, fumbled, and lost a fumble. You would have been okay. You'd been better with that than an interception thrown.
When have we seen Russell Wilson fumble or read option? That's number one. And number two, I would have preferred the bootleg. I would have preferred Russell Wilson faking it to Marshawn and running himself. That's what I would have preferred. I think that everybody and their grandmother was expecting Marshawn Lynch to get the ball. I would have had Marshawn Lynch fake as if he got the handoff, dived over or whatever the case, and Russell Wilson run around. I mean, listen, you could have done that. We've seen that in the past. Russell Wilson, did you see how evasive he was against the rush all afternoon long? Did you see how many ankles he was practically breaking for crying out loud? Russell Wilson has that capability, that speed. He could have scrambled out of the pocket. If it didn't work, throw the football away. You live to play, to play another play. What you don't do is take that kind of risk with a Super Bowl title on the line. And clearly, I'm not alone, because there's a whole bunch of players inside that locker room wearing Seahawks uniforms that said, I cannot understand how we don't get the ball to Marshawn Lynch. I don't understand that, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
You know, your hindsight isn't 20/20 today. It's 15/15. That's how great it is.
Whatever. I said it yesterday. I said it Sunday night immediately after the play was over. Unlike you, I have not changed my position. I stand resolute in how I feel. Period. On to the next subject.